Bonjour peeps, hi, this is Neshi Lowcott. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page right here on Facebook. The official title is Star Nations Magazine, Radio Network, and Publishing. Welcome to the daily live stream that I do to share about the daily card draws that I do. And so today is Thursday, October 25th, and we have another gorgeous day here. We really do. Mild. It has been really mild. Usually, we've been getting up to 20, between 20 degrees and 25 degrees. This morning it was 31. And so it's kind of like balmy weather at 31. But right now it's like 56 degrees. So it's like, yay, and sunny. So, I'm taking it because pretty soon here in northern Wisconsin, we've already seen snow, but it can get kind of cold, right? So I'm going to take this mild weather, that's for sure. Hey, look who's in the chat. Michelle's with us. Yay, Michelle. And Mervyn Kelly is with us from across the pond. And hi, Michelle. How are you doing? How you doing? Before we get too far, because we got 3 cards to cover again today. Oh, good. Michelle says it's nice by her too. Yeah, we got 3 cards to cover. And I usually do only, my intention is to do 1 card, but Spirit keeps giving me these 3 cards a day, and it's like, okay, let's see what we can do, how we can fit it all in. But before we get started, I'm going to share in the broadcast, because, I had recently made the decision to do these live streams in the afternoon, 2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern. And I had been doing it at 10 in the morning. And there's some people who still think I'm on at 10 in the morning. And so I just want to make sure they know that that I'm actually live streaming right now. So I'm going to do that. It doesn't take very long, just a little bit of a pause. So I'm going to share it to my timeline. Whoops. I don't know what I just did there. I copied a link. All right, so I'm going to go and do it to my news feed and just let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And we can please join me. There we go. That's to my timeline. And then I'm going to share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, because that's where most of the active community members here at Star Nations hangs out. So I'm going to do that right now. And what did I do? All right. Oh, there. Okay. I was just in the wrong page. So I'm just going to say, hi, peeps, and let them know I'm live streaming. And to please join me. There. Easy peasy, as they say. There we go. There. Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing. Mervyn says, it's dark here. Well, what are you, 6 hours, 7 hours ahead of me? So yeah, it would be evening by you in Eastern England, right? Hey, Jackie just joined us too. Hello, Jackie. All right. We got that. So, Tuesdays here at Star Nations is usually a very busy day, right? Well, it's turning out that the last Thursday of every month here at Star Nations is a duplicate of Tuesday. We have a total of 3 shows on Thursday, the last Thursday of the month. And so, and I had business calls in between. And so today's is definitely one of those busy days like Tuesday. And Puppy George is in puppy school right now. I took him in. He had to be there at 8:30 this morning, and he was there yesterday too. He came home very, very tired, and he slept really well. And this morning, I literally had to go and wake him up and literally pull him out of bed. And he reminded me of, when I was a kid and not wanting to go to school. I'm too tired. Nope, we had to get up, we had to go, and so he's at puppy school right now. He loves it there. He's got some good friends who like to play rough. Those are other four-leggeds, and so he's having a good time. Hi, Jackie. I'm so good you're here with us. So glad. And so that's why it's a little quiet yesterday and today, is because George is at school. He'll be with us tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and he won't be at puppy school, so he'll be with us tomorrow. He's getting big. He's like 30 pounds now. 30 pounds. And that's a little bit to heft when you're trying to pull him out of bed. And I had to carry him down the steps because he was too tired to walk down the steps. I could almost hear him, I'm stuck. Because he started going down. He went down like 3 steps and then stopped and sat down. And his ears looked really long and his face got real long. And I asked him, are you stuck? And he just kind of looked up at me and said, all right, I'll give you a lift. Not an Uber, but a lift. And so he's funny. Keeps me laughing. We have very interesting cards today. Very interesting energy going on. We've been talking about the last few weeks. Like 3 weeks ago, we were talking about change and using our gifts, and that change was on the horizon. And and then last week, change was right at the door, right? I'm going to allow it in. And this week is change is right here, right now. It's inside the door if you allow it in. And using your gifts to ground it to the earth plane, right? And we talked about that yesterday. And today, when I did the card draw, it was rather early. It was like, we had to leave at 8. So it must have been about 7:30 or so here Central Time when I drew the cards. And so this is the first card that came. And it reminds me a little bit of the Maori in New Zealand. It's the warrior. It says, be fearless, stand strong. Be fearless, stand strong. All right? Looks, I know that they want this warrior to look fierce, but to me, there's strength in this warrior, but he's not scary. He's not scary fierce. And symbolism going on here. We've got the feather here, or rather here. There we go, right there. In a Native American tradition anyway, when we wear a feather, it's to connect us to the medicine of that bird. And generally speaking, it's usually an eagle, right? And so the eagle is really held in high esteem, well honored, and so when you see an eagle, it's like a really big deal. It really is. And to wear an eagle feather is a really big deal. The eagle is the messenger from the Creator, between us and the Creator and us, right? And because the eagle can fly so high that we say that it flies so close to the Creator. Yeah. Hey, Minnie's here. Hello, Minnie, Sister Minnie. She says, just came in from being out in the shaman shack. Ooh, I like that shaman shack. And so with the eagle feather and the placement of it is that is to actually bring the energy and the spirit of the eagle in, but more importantly is to bring the messages from spirit, from the Creator through. And so we wear it very close to the crown chakra. In the culture that I grew up in, with my eagle feather, I wear it like right here, right? And it's meant to be like an antenna, like a divining rod, to bring in that Creator energy and the intuition and the messages that go along with it. And many times you'll see Native Americans with the full headdress, men usually, with the full headdress, right? The full piece. And there's a lot of eagle feathers on that. but it's carries the same energy, or very similar energy, I should say, and symbolism as a crown. All right. Now, don't get confused that this is a king or a queen or anything like that, because most Native American nations, we don't have a kind of leader like that. So, but the feathers sit around the crown chakra. And so that many feathers, it's bringing in a lot of information from spirit, from the creator. And European royalty, that is the same symbolism. And when they wear the crown, is that one is it shows that they've been anointed, selected by God, right, to be in that position. But the crown that they wear really has more to do with their crown chakra and bringing in information from God or the creator. So when I saw this picture of the warrior and the feather, I was thinking, what came to me is that this warrior is receiving information through his crown chakra using the feather as the connection. It's like that divining rod. And I'm guessing here that they're indicating that it's an eagle feather. I'm guessing anyway. And then look, he has this earring hanging down from his left ear. So to me, that's about clear audience, right? Getting that information. And the length of the earring also is a symbol, or letting us know that there's a lot of information coming in, a lot of information available from spirit. Yeah. Be fearless and stand strong. If you look in the background of the picture, look in the background, if I can hold it so that it gets focused. It looks like ferns in the back, doesn't it? Ferns. So if there's somebody in the chat, such as Minnie, or anyone else, that has a feeling about or information about what is the spiritual significance of the fern, because I think that's important, because it's in the background. And if the background is rather dark, right? But it really shows the warrior, almost like he's standing in the light, or standing, maybe the light's in front of him. I was even intrigued by his spear, the carvings on the spearhead, almost totem pole like images. The energy swirls, and it looks like maybe like it was backwards, like right around here we have possibly, it looks to me like crystals or stones in there, right? And a face just below that. A lot of information in this card. Let's find out what he meant by the warrior. The warrior. So page 84. All right. The message is, don't back down. Make your opinions heard. Don't settle for second best. Don't settle for second best. When we were manifesting, whatever that is that you manifested, and we've been watching, sensing, coming in from the horizon, getting closer and closer and closer. And late last week, it was right at the door. And this week, it's if you accepted it, it is right inside your home, right inside the front door. When we were doing that manifesting, our desires, what we wanted to bring into our life, right? We were manifesting the best possible, not the second best, Not the third best, but the best possible. And, because we're two-leggeds, humans, um, we don't always know what's around the corner. And so many times what we say is, or something better. I want this, whatever it is you're manifesting, or something better. That way we don't get the second best, right? Hey, Julie Hedges is here. She's listening at work. All right, we won't tell them, okay? It'll be our little secret. Us and the rest of the public. Just teasing you, Julie. I'm glad you're here. Kyle goes on to say that a warrior is anyone who is ready and willing to know themselves and to do what needs to be done in order to get where they want to be. So, in that sentence alone, to me, that's facing our fears. The fears that our mental mind can really conjure up or add to something to make it bigger than what it really is, right? But when we know ourselves as well as we possibly can, we also know what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And so it's taking all of our strengths, all of our tools that we've learned along the way, all the classes that you've been to, all the different applications that you can use to ground or, to all the information, for instance, about stones and crystals or oils and all of that information. And you add it to the gifts that you came in with to be able to stand your ground, right? To be able to do whatever needs to be done to achieve and to have what you've manifested. In other words, what you manifested is right here with you right now, but you haven't grounded it to the earth plane. So what's stopping you? It could be based in fear. And so when we turn around to face whatever that is, in our soul, we already know what we need to do. We already know which gifts we're going to be using to ground this manifestation to the earth plane. We already know what tools we have to face the fear and to do whatever we need to do to move it from fear to love, to move it from fear to acceptance, to move it from fear to heal through it, right? And in it, there's soul growth in there. Whenever we face a fear, there's soul growth. Yeah. So what is it, if you haven't ground your manifestation to the earth plane, why haven't you? What's stopping you? That's the question. And Spirit is telling us to turn around and look at it. What is that? Name it. When we name something, that in our mental mind, we have then a starting point to deal with it, right? To deal with it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of one for me, because it's always the best example is yourself, right? So the manifestation for me is actually adding to the foundation and the platform that Star Nations stands on. That is Star Nations. And so we're at that point of that you can feel the expansion. You can feel it wanting to go, right? But we're trying to get things into place. Or I'm trying to get things into place is a better way to put it. And so cache layout and also changing some things about star nations that we had established at the very beginning. And we're talking about, things like our masthead on the magazine, that kind of thing. And so I've known it for a while that it needs to be done. And so just before I hit broadcast today for this live stream, I actually contacted the owls, and made the request that they start working on changing the masthead on the magazine, fine tuning it a bit. And so I stepped into that. Yeah. Now it sounds like a little thing, but it's not. It's not, because it is a changing the outward brand of us, right? So it's a big step. It's a big step. I had to close my eyes and leap. I did. I leapt. That's the right word, right? Leapt. Julie says, "What about smudge feathers? How is that bird medicine working?" All right. So when you're smudging and you're using a feather, what you're doing is you're bringing through you, right? The creator energy. It's flowing through you, through your arm, through your hand, through your fingers, through the feather. So when you're smudging somebody, it's alchemy, really, because you got creator energy, you have your spirit, you have the medicine of the bird, and you have the medicine of the smudge, no matter what you're using, whether it's sage or cedar, frankincense, whatever you're using to smudge somebody. So it's layer on layer on layer, right? So that's why it's important to know what bird you're using, what medicine of the bird. Because some medicines are more, it depends on why you're smudging too. Why you're smudging. If it's, just getting let's say you're doing a class and you just want people to come in and you wipe them down, basically. You're not doing any intentional healing work. You're just trying to get the stuff off from their aura, right? And so you could use a turkey feather. It's an abundance. It's a giving bird, right? You could do that. If you were doing healing work, depending on what you were healing, I would be using my eagle feather. Or, if it's an emotional healing, you could be using some sort of water bird. If it is, owl is a really strong medicine too. You have to be really consciously aware of what you're clearing to use owl, because you think about what owl does, right? That medicine. They have silent flight. They see in the dark. They have great hearing, right? But they're also, depending on what you believe, there's also an element of death in that, right? So it depends on what you're clearing and what you're smudging. But so the bird medicine can actually help with to lend their medicine to what you're doing in that layering, in that alchemy over the removal. Does that help, Julie? I hope so. Minnie is saying ferns grow in a spiral. Oh, grows in a spiral. All right. So if you look at the tattoo on his face, there's spirals in there. There's also spirals in the spear. And from a Celtic tradition, that is how they believe the energy moves through the sacred circle, spirals in. And it spirals in from the cross quarters. We call them the crosswinds. They don't come in at the cardinal points. Right? Thank you for that, Minnie, because that adds another layer to this card, is that the movement of the energy that we're being fearless in and standing strong in, the energy is in a spiral pattern. Yep. And Jackie is saying, I have that deck, but not at home to look it up. Well, oh, thank you, Jackie. I'm glad. Thank you for trying to help. I appreciate that. Stephanie says, what happens when you smudge with owl medicine? Oh, and so she says, I had an owl feather show up. Okay, so think what do you know about owl for you, Stephanie? Because it's more important that your definition or your feeling about owl medicine and how it's connected to you is much more important, holds much more medicine or power than say if you took it from Ted's book. Now it's a good book. It's a great reference. I have all his books. It's a place to start, but it's more important about what you believe owl medicine is, and what to use owl for, right? So for me, for instance, owl is my birth totem. Owl, also in the culture that I grew up in, there's a lot of fear base around it. And so really, if you're dealing with fears, for me, that is a good feather to use because it has a lot of power to break up the fear, right? Yeah. And if you're dealing with like soul retrievals or something like that, that might be a good feather to use for soul retrievals. So really, some people would actually use it in space clearing, but I wouldn't use it in all space clearing. It would depend on what's going on in the home. I always ask the home, the spirit, the guardian of the home, what is what tools should I bring? What are we dealing with? Right? Yeah. Yeah. Good questions about that owl medicine. All right. So Kyle goes on to say that in this deck, the warrior embodies fierce primal love. The warrior within, the energy you can call on to protect yourself. So when we say that we're going to be going in fearless, to be fearless means to be in the energy field or the frequency of love. And there's no doubt to it. It's 100% love when you go in fearless. You're going in with an immense amount of love. And so that has a much higher vibration, right, than fear. And so when you're in the vibration of love, you also have a very high protective field because lower vibrational energies aren't going to want to be in the same area because like energy meets like energy, right? So if you have love here and you have a lower vibrational coming in, it doesn't meet. And one of the two has to go away. They can't be in the same spot. And so usually what happens is that the lower vibration leaves, goes away. That's what it means to be fearless. If you don't think you love yourself, if you are exposed to a situation that could be harmful or dangerous, the steps you take to protect yourself are in fact acts of fierce love. So that's another perspective of it, another way to look at it, right? Is that your actions, when you go to protect yourself, you're also saying, I love me. I love me so much that I'm going to protect me. That I'm going to protect me. That includes all aspects of ourselves. Okay, in our wholeness, we have an inner child, we have a conscious or an adult self, and we have our higher self, right? And those three make up our entire whole being. And so when we step in and we say, I love me so much, I'm going to protect me, that part of us that we're protecting is our inner child. that part of us that is the most vulnerable, that part of us that trusts that they will be taken care of, that they will be protected, that they will be loved. We may not have gotten that from our parents, or the family members, our blood family. It may not have happened that way. But it can be that way for you as an adult. The adult you and the higher self you can say, I love me so much. I am going to protect me. I'm going to protect me as that child. And love that child. Love that part of yourself. Yeah. Hey, Elise Miller's here. And Mervyn is saying it's not only how you connect with Owl or whoever it may be, but it's also how the spirit connects with you. Absolutely. Absolutely, Mervyn. Yeah. That's a whole show right there. One that maybe a druid could do from a druid sense. Mm-hmm. Hello, Elise. I hope you're well. Good to see you in the chat. Take a drink of tea. So for those who just showed up, here we go. This is our first card. Warrior. Be fearless and stand strong. Be fearless and stand strong. Kyle says that although the warrior in this card is surrounded by darkness, he is of the light. The warrior within is made up of light and has the capacity to shine even more brightly when facing darkness head on. Even more brightly when you face your fears. Take that deep breath. When you exhale, face the fear. Name it. Name it. You know what it is. It's kind of like saying Voldemort's name. You know what it means. You know what it is. And remember, when you're fearless, you're in a lot of love. And so that's why the warrior in you and also in this picture is standing in the light. Yeah. Gotta get you back your strength. If you're experiencing fear at this time, know that this means whatever is going on is important to you. So you have this manifestation, this whatever it is that you've been wanting, manifesting to come into the physical world. And here it is. It's not even at your door. It's inside your house. It's inside. And you, in order for it to be physically here on the earth plane, it's up to you to ground it to the earth plane by using your gifts. And if you have a fear about grounding it, or whatever it is that's stopping you from grounding it, is what they're saying is that, stand in the love. Go in fearless, stand in the love. Because whatever is going on is important to you. Important to you. Not important to your neighbor, not important to your teacher, not important to me, but important to you. And so do you love yourself enough to protect it, to surround it with love, and to raise the vibration so that you can ground it to the earth plane? I think you can. I believe you can. Because looking at the people in the chat, you get a lot of power in that chat room, let me tell you. Yep. So you can do it. You have to decide to do it. You've already decided to manifest it. It's right here, right now. So the next piece is to ground it to the earth plane. Whenever you feel fear, you're on the verge of something big. Perhaps a massive breakthrough that's going to really help you move forward. If you have a situation on your hands where you have to face someone or something that's been unsettling to you, know that you are being guided to call up your inner warrior. Don't falter and don't be frightened, because you have the energy to protect yourself now and at all times. It's like we're really cheering you on, aren't we? Yeah. I was just recalling, I was not a cheerleader in high school or college. But you're going to games, there's certain cheers, right? That the cheerleaders would do for the team, whether they had the ball, in offense or whether they're in defense, right? And so I was just recalling one of the defense cheers. They would spell it out. Give me a D. Give me an E. Defense, right? So, you had the spirit, you had yourself to do and set your sights on what you wanted to manifest. You brought it in. You brought it right here, right in front of you. And now this one step is all about soul growth, is facing your fear. And allowing nothing or no one to take your manifestation away from you, whatever it was. Stop it. Stephanie. Next stop, Panic Attack City. Tickets, please. Tickets. I know. That's why I said take the big deep breath. Because when we go into fear, we start breathing shallow or we hold our breath, right? And when we do that and we're in fear, we are constricting. No, we're not expansive, we're constricted. And so when you take that big deep breath in, really filling up your lungs, and you do that, that loud blow of air as you're exhaling, is really to release. And once you protect yourself with love, because you love your inner child. I know you do. You raise your vibration to the vibration of love. And so the panic attack doesn't need to happen as long as you bring in love. You go in fearless, which means that you go in with an immense amount of love. And what's the best way to do that? Really is to bring to you images of things that you love, whether it's your own children, a pet, Grandmother Earth, whatever it is that you just love. You bring those images to you and you shift your vibration. You shift your vibration out of fear into love. And within love, everything is possible. Miracles happen. And miracles happen every day. Elise says, I might be driving, Stephanie. Sorry, I'm not on that trip with you guys. Nope. All right, so that was the first card, Warrior. Second card we've gotten already before, Arrow. Surround yourself with protective energy. Gee, I wonder what Spirit's trying to tell us here. Surround yourself with protective energy. Arrow. And, that particular card has come up like 5 or 6 times. And I remember when I first started getting familiar with this deck, there's one thing that Kyle wrote about in the foreword of it, and of the booklet, is that he says when a card shows up multiple times, the Spirit really wants you to take a look at it, really wants you to bring it into your awareness and discern for yourself what this really means for you. Now, we've had arrow like 5 or 6 times. So what does that really mean? Surround yourself with protective energy. The message is surround yourself with positive people and experiences and environments that make you feel safe. Call in your angels, guides, and ancestors to bring you protection. So if you're having a challenge with facing your fear with love, then call on your spiritual team. Call to your ancestors. Ask them to help you, to show you, to tell you how to be in the frequency of love, to show you that, to tell you how to do that. And chances are that is your soul growth. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. That when we learn how to hold that frequency of love for longer and longer and longer periods of time, is that those things that stop us or interfere with us to complete our soul contract, to move our lives in that direction, that's about soul growth. It's about, on the medicine wheel, we're walking from the east to the west, facing our fears along that road, going from our head to our heart, so that whatever we learn from all of that, our soul growth, that wisdom that we gain, we take it onto the red road, which runs from the south to the north, and that goes to our community in the north, where we get to share that wisdom and our gifts with our community. Soul growth. That's where we're going. We're going home. Stephanie says, the universe has a sense of humor. The timing right now is crazy. I still have a respiratory infection, breathing and laughing. Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. But, Stephanie, you also come through a really challenging time. And you manifested something that came right to your door and inside your home, and a completion. And that's your new life, and leaving the trauma, drama of the old life behind, keeping the life lessons, right? And facing maybe whatever fear that is that's stopping you from then grounding your manifestations to the earth plane. Please feel better, at least before our trip. LOL. All right. And so with the arrow, when an arrow appears in a meditation or dream or a reading, it's a sign you need to protect yourself and what's important to you. Your manifestation that you brought into the physical plane is important to you, because not everyone has the same intentions as you do. In other words, you also have to be discerning of who you have around you, right? This doesn't mean that people are intentionally wanting to hurt you, but they could be careless in their choices and actions, and this could affect you. There are energies around you that could lower your vibration, and it's important you become aware of them and not brought down by them. And that's what we're talking about, is the fear, right? The fear. Let's think about that a little bit. Let's do a little role playing, right? So if you have somebody in your life who would rather spend time talking about the fear of how bad that is, or it's just a bad place to be in, and I can't even do that fear piece. They're gossiping about the other person or their people, and they would rather be the doom and gloom of it all, right? be in the drama of it. That's a lower vibration. And so you can either choose to change the subject and talk about something that's a higher vibration. You can't change them, but you can change the subject. Or you can actually use your voice and say, you know what, that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. If you want to be helpful to me, encourage me. Tell me I can do it, you know. Or sometimes what we have to do is take a break from that person or those people. You can make your own decision on whether or not you're going to have them in your life permanently, but you can take a vacation from them. You can say, I need to put you on pause for a little while. I'll be back, but I need to pause you for just a bit. And so that you can change your frequency to the vibration of love. Yep. Stephanie says, yep, working on bringing new friends into my life. Well, good for you. Good for you. You know what? And you turn to your spiritual team and asking them to help you with that. You know, bring opportunities to me to meet new people and to people who have the vibration of love, that have a positive outlook on life, and get bring those opportunities to me, right? Yeah. All right, and then Kyle goes on to say that if you're in a situation where you feel that not everything is as clear as it seems, trust your intuition. There are energies in our current situation that aren't fully aligned with your intentions and goals or with kindness. Follow your intuition about whom to trust and what to trust. If you can take time to retreat or step out of the situation to assess what's going on, that can be beneficial to you. In any event, this is time to call on the energy of protection and to place yourself in a space that feels safe. We're going to go back to the warrior. We're going to go back to the warrior. Be fearless. Stand strong. Your inner warrior can protect you, can protect that vulnerable part of you, that inner child. Right? And why? Why are we even talking about this? Is because that you have an opportunity to ground that manifestation onto the earth plane, in your frequency, in your vibration. And to be able to do that at a vibration of love, you need to change and shift yourself into that vibration of love. Stephanie saying, higher vibe people, calling them to me. Well, we're right here with you, right in this chat room, Stephanie. I know that it's in the cyber world, but you got a lot of people right here at Star Nations that we're right there, right next to you, standing with you, cheering you on. Elisa's saying, hug Stephanie. I'm getting old, but not dead. Oh, gosh. Well, Stephanie's got to go pick up her son. You have a great day too, Stephanie, and thank you for joining us and adding to the conversation. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that others do too. Yeah. All right, we have one more card. What time is it? Oh, got to keep moving. All right, so here is the next card. That's the High Priestess. Look at the artwork on that card. It says harness mystic power. Harness mystic power. That is some high priestess going on there. See the feathers again in her headpiece? Okay. And I just noticed that look at the cat. This has to be, is it Bast? Bast? B-A-S-T, Bast? The cat has an earring on, a circular earring. Yeah, there's that clairaudience again, right? Oh, and look up at the top there. We have the Merkaba, the star tetrahedron. Yep. That's a lot going on in this card too. I love that cat with the earring. It's pretty good. I know. Minnie says, I love her. I do too. I do too. There's a lot going on in that card too. All right, so we're going to see what High Priestess means to Kyle. And here it is, page 42. For me, the priestess or the High Priestess, is about leadership, right? It's usually about someone who has intentionally spent quality time in learning the mystical aspects. Sometimes giving up what some might call the mundane life, they're not the ones that are going to be spending time, going out and, their focus is really different, very, very different. They spend a lot of time in studying and applying what they study. Walking that spiritual life, that mystic life. The message is align with the light and focus on all things positive. Align with the light and focus on all things positive, like love. The High Priestess is the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, the goddess in human form. She has had many names through time and space, but her essence has remained similar, which is fierce, powerful, and disciplined. Fierce, powerful, and disciplined. In many traditions, particularly pre-Christian, the High Priestess was in charge of spiritual and religious orders and was the voice of authority and guidance from the gods. The High Priestess in this deck is the consort and partner of the High Priest. If you look at them together, you'll see they're a mirror image of each other and each other's energy. She's joined by a black cat representing the Egyptian goddess Bast, who protects her from lower energies, and she stands strong in her glory and power. So here's another standing strong. And calling on her spiritual team to protect her from those lower vibrational energies. Kyle says that you're a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. Let me read that one again because that's important. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. By your will. Not by your neighbors, not even by your significant other, not by your children, not by your mom, not by your dad, but by you. There's an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, but it requires dedication and discipline. Requires dedication and discipline. So to me, that means, especially we're talking about the warrior and the arrow, that means that we're taking the time to remember how to hold the frequency of love so that when we face our fears, we remember how to do this with love. It does take some discipline. Let me tell you, sometimes it is much easier to be in the lower vibration when you're with a group of people and they start doing the talking about other people, gossiping, doing that kind of thing. It's so much easier to be in the drama than it is to step away from it. You have to make the decision. And some of that is self-discipline. You have to make the decision that you're going to step into a higher frequency. And if that means practicing and applying how to hold that frequency for longer periods of time, that's what we have to do. Our spiritual team can't do it for us. They can give us the opportunities, bring those opportunities to us in order to apply how to hold the frequency of love. But they can't do it for us. We have to do that for ourselves. And, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me, especially when we're talking about facing our fears and protecting ourselves, loving ourselves enough to protect ourselves. Loving ourselves enough to protect our inner child, the most vulnerable aspect of ourselves. Not to shut people out, but to protect ourselves so that when we go to the discernment, that we're fully in the present, fully in the present for ourselves. And Minnie is saying, Bastet, goddess of fire, cats, the home, and pregnant women. Oh my goodness. So pregnant women. So we were talking about the inner child, right? And about the home. How many times did I say that our manifestation isn't even at our front door anymore? It's inside. It's right here, right next to us, right in front of us. And the fire, that's action. That's action, taking action. All right, so Kyle goes on to say that you are being guided to look at what you're working on or the situation before you and determine where your priorities lie. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you guidance that will be important for your growth. It's everything we just talked about. Get a love spirit. The way the cards came in this morning and the message that they're giving us for today really is about, we've worked diligently on describing the kind of life or whatever it is that you're manifesting to bring it into the earth plane, to your life. And it's right in front of you. And so not allowing lower vibrations to stop you from grounding it to the earth plane, and loving yourself enough to protect yourself against those kind of energies that would interfere, to pull your focus away from the grounding of that manifestation. We live in exciting times, I think. All right, so here we go. We have the warrior. Be fearless and stand strong. Protect yourself. Love yourself enough to protect yourself, and do whatever you need to do to ground that energy to the earth plane, your manifestation. The arrow. Surround yourself with positive energy. You're going to have to make some decisions. You know, it just went through my head, that old saying, you are who your friends are. You are the vibration that you put yourself into. Consciously put yourself there. Hi, Megan. Megan's asking, what's the card draw for? Just out of curiosity. Well, Megan, what I do, and I've been doing this for a long time, decades, is that I draw a card. I meet with my spiritual team, usually in the morning, and my intention is to know about the energy that's most important to know about for that day, for the highest good, right? Well, in about this time last year, I started taking like quotes, from the card draw and putting them on our Instagram account for Star Nations. And in May, I made the decision. It was a light bulb moment. Is that maybe there are people in Star Nations community who would enjoy hearing about the cards and having a spiritual conversation about that, about the cards, about the energy that's most important to know about for that day. And so that's what this live stream is all about, is that card draw. And piecing it all together and using our intuition, and seeing what is it that spirit is showing us, for our highest good. And for today, I really think it's about taking all that shifts and changes that were being shown to us weeks ago, and how that whatever it is that we're manifesting for ourselves, that it's coming closer and closer and closer, and now it's right inside our home. And now we have to make a decision for our soul growth to use our gifts to ground it to the earth plane. And if there's fears that interfering with us in grounding that manifestation, that we have the opportunity to face whatever fear that is, and to go in fearless, meaning that we go in with a lot of love. And these cards are basically telling us how to do that. Is to be in that frequency of love. And we get decisions to make in order to remember how to hold that frequency, in order to ground that to the earth plane, that manifestation. So, whew, that's a lot. It was a lot today, a lot in these three cards. So what I say every day, because we do this every day at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern, is that whatever resonated with you in what we shared today, is to embrace it, to pick it up and hold it, and see how it unfolds for you for today. If you're a direct participant in it, to actually ground your manifestation to the earth plane. Or maybe you're the witness to it. And what I'd like to say is that no matter whether you're active or if you're witnessing it, is that we're learning something about that and also about ourselves. And the flip side of that is if it didn't resonate with you at all, that's okay. No worries. Wasn't meant for you. You can just let it lie, right? Or what I say is that, it's possible you're the messenger. Maybe you know somebody that's been looking for the information, or you think that would enjoy the conversation, and you can always share the link for the recorded with them, right? Yeah. It was, I think, it feels to me like this is a big step for us, that you have to make the decision that to actually ground whatever it is you're manifesting onto the earth plane into your life. This is a big step. This is a big soul growth moment for us. Yeah. And it'd be interesting if you guys want to share how this turns out for you, you can let us know tomorrow, right? Megan saying, I believe I met you from GLR, definitely following. Megan, I think we did. I'm looking at your last name. I'm pretty sure we did. And she's saying, thank you very much, and I'm glad I found the stream. Oh, we are too. We're glad you're here with us, Megan. And Becca just joined us too. Hello, Becca. It's good to see you in the chat. So I guess, what I want to say is for those of us making the decision to take that big, deep breath in, and on the exhale is taking that step and grounding our desires to the earth plane. Then I'm sending you a lot of love for that. Because your soul, you're going to be doing your soul work, and I am so excited about that. Almost brings me to tears, because that means that we're shifting a lot of energy. We're bringing the frequency of a very large energy field up to the frequency of love. And yeah, miracles can happen because of that, right? Minnie is saying, thank you, Neshi. I resonated with us all, and I shared it. Thank you, Minnie. I love you, Minnie. And Becca's saying hi. And Megan said, huge changes are coming to my family. A lot resonated. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, you're welcome, Megan. You're welcome. Say, listen, we have one more show to go yet today. On Thursday, October 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin, and I get to produce their show for them. So I'm there too. Tonight is all about the masks that we wear. I think the title of it is Our Masks. And Orchard has such a gift with guided meditation. And so she'll be doing a guided meditation for us as well. So I hope you can join us. It's going to be a good one because, the theme masks, falls in with Halloween, but that topic is so much bigger than that. It's the masks that we wear with the different maybe people in our lives. But you know what? There's also other things. There's ritual masks. There are the Egyptian, their sarcophagus. Within the sarcophagus, they always had a mask over the person that I'm hoping that Orchard's going to talk about that a bit for us. But if you can, we would really appreciate you joining us and joining the conversation about masks. All right. So that's 8 p.m. Eastern. With that, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here for the daily card draw live stream at 2 p.m. Central Time. That's 3 Eastern tomorrow. And George will be with us tomorrow, the puppy. All right, Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi 4. Until we see each other again. I love you guys.